and welcome to the Training in My Life podcast, episode 52. This week, you don't give yourself enough credit. Be proud of what you've done. Acknowledge your efforts. You did good. You deserve a pat on the back. You made the impossible happen. These are just some of the things people should say to you, but don't. It's one of those sad things in life that when we do something wrong, there seems like a line of people queued up to tell us about our mistakes, to remind us that we weren't thorough enough checking things, that we just plain messed up. But when you do a good job, how many times do people actually tell you that? Well, not a lot really. They're too busy moving on to the next thing. Okay, you did that, well, next task, and not a word of thanks, not a word of appreciation. And that can sometimes grind you down. And even when it doesn't, it's still in the back of your mind that you worked very hard, but nobody acknowledged your effort. So when you're working on the next project, there's that little voice in the back of your head thinking, no matter what you do, it won't be acknowledged. You won't be told that you did great, that it was a wonderful job. You'll just be given the next task, given the next project, and things move along. The thing is, this doesn't only happen in your career. You do it to yourself. This topic was prompted by me watching a video where a woman said she'd stopped for a moment in her busy day and sort of thought about, I did this, I did that, I did the other. And she sort of mentally racked up a list of the things she'd done so far. And she looked at the time and she was absolutely amazed that she'd got so much done in a little amount of time. And she said to herself, hey, you're doing a good job there. And I think we don't do that to ourselves. And it's something we should do. Be proud of what you've done, no matter what it is. If you got up in the morning, had your breakfast and left for work, then be proud of the fact that you did that. You know, there's plenty of us would like not to get up and get out the door, but to stay home and have a duvet day. So you're already ahead of the game if you've done that. And then if you make it to work on time, hey, well done you. You know, you battled through transport and you got to the door when you were supposed to, and you arrived at your workstation and it was the right time. When you're getting dressed in the morning, whatever you decide to put on, when you look in the mirror, give yourself a smile, a thumbs up, looking good today, so that you set yourself up for compliments, for a positive outlook, that you're facing the day looking good. It's difficult to know what to put as the thumbnail for this podcast, so I've been writing some of the phrases down that I plan to use in it, and I will photograph it to use it. And you should try doing something like this for yourself and keep it pinned to the fridge or in your bag where you can open it up and look at it when you're feeling a bit down. It's really good to see it in writing yourself. Give yourself some credit. I think if you're self-employed, run your own business, it's quite difficult to remember to give yourself an acknowledgement of how far you've come and how much you've done. If you stop and think back to what it was like when you first started your business, how difficult it was, how you weren't very confident, things like that, and then you look at it now and it might be that you worked from home originally and now you've got a small office. Or it could be that you still work from home but you've got an assistant now because your business is growing. Acknowledge your own achievements. Just take a moment to smile, think about how far you've come, all the things you've achieved and be proud. Be proud of yourself. There are social achievements as well, where you might be the shy one. You might not enjoy going out very much because you don't have much confidence. And this week you're actually going to turn up and spend some time with your friends in a bar and see how it goes. And it's not as bad as you thought it would be. And people are quite nice. And you quite enjoyed chatting. And somebody laughed at a joke you made. And you can get home and you can be very proud of yourself that you overcame those fears. You increased your confidence. And now a whole other world of socialising has opened up to you. Congratulate yourself. It's a big achievement. Give yourself a pat on the back. That's often an expression that people use when things are going well. I can remember watching a teacher say that to a room full of small children, and they just sort of reached over their shoulder and patted the back of their shoulder. But to them, they were patting themselves on the back. They were congratulating themselves. And so they learnt from a very young age to do that when they'd done anything well. You can go through tough times in life, and just the process of going through those times and sticking with it and trying your best and getting up every day and going and doing whatever you're doing again and again and again, getting through whatever it is you're getting through, just doing that, getting to the other side, getting to the end of whatever your problem was, that's a huge thing. And you should really acknowledge your efforts, because it's the hardest thing to do, to keep going when lots of people would want to give up. Remind yourself when you look in the mirror that you're incredible. There's just one of you. You're unique and wonderful in every way. You spend your days being the best you that you can be. And that's a great achievement. It might be that you've been training for a marathon, or even just turning up to the gym on a regular day of the week, every single week. Each one is an achievement for the person who's been doing it. Equally, the other side of that is trying to remember to be kind to people who have achieved things on your behalf. So if you have a friend who went out of their way to get you something that you'd mentioned, then give them lots of praise for that. Or if you have an employee who was in work early and working late until a project was finished, make sure you reward them with some very flattering words of praise, so that they will increase their confidence and feel that you value their efforts. There are lots of times when we're doing things that we don't particularly want to do, and we do them for reasons like, well, we need to work because we need to have money to pay the rent, or we need to clean the house because it's got lots of dust and dirt, and if we'd never cleaned it, we'd end up getting diseases and stuff. And I have to take the dog out, even though I feel lazy and don't want to do it. But if I don't do it, he'll pee and poo everywhere. So, this is not practical to ignore. I have to do that. I think animals will reward you by a dog will wag its tail, a cat will come up and purr on your lap, things like that. They reward you for how you treat them. Sometimes we have parents that don't acknowledge how well we're doing with our lives. Sometimes they'll criticise when things go wrong, but not acknowledge that you're doing a lot of things right. And this can start in childhood when they're pushing you to achieve more and more, and it's only the A grades that are going to make them happy. And if you got a B, no matter how hard you worked, that's not going to get their praise. And as you move through life, you can then end up always feeling like you're not good enough with your parents. And you know in your own heart that you are. But it still seems when you visit with them that you're that child again, trying very hard to please and not really getting anywhere. But as an adult, you can recognise that and still know for yourself that you're absolutely doing great, and you don't need them to say that to you. It would be nice, you'd like that, but they are who they are, and if they're not going to say that to you, then hey ho, you will acknowledge your own accomplishments. And quite often, when you then have children of your own, you raise them in a completely different way, and you praise your child for doing well all the time, and make sure that they're never put in that position of wanting the acknowledgement, wanting that pat on the head that never comes. And you see your own children much more confident than you were because they feel that they are doing a good job at their lives and they're achieving things, and that their family, that's you, acknowledge that. They're proud of them. They think they're simply the best. You may have to walk in a room to give a presentation and be really, really nervous. You don't know whether you can do it. You feel kind of nauseous. What if the slides don't come up at the right time? What if you can't remember what you were going to say? Blah, blah, blah. You're spiralling into lack of confidence. But once the ball starts rolling, once the slides start going, you realise you can remember, and the more slides you go through, the more confident you get. And when you end, there's a round of applause, and people come up to you and they ask you questions afterwards, and you realise, hey, I did a great job. I was interesting, and these people are inspired. And I did that. Me. Yay! Pat on the back. You don't always need someone to tell you how great you are. You just need to acknowledge it yourself. Remember that you are doing a great job in your life. And every day, you never know what's going to happen, but you're out there and you're doing it. And you're having good times and bad times, but you're still there. And you're still doing your best to make a good life. You might have planned a party for a child, gone to a lot of trouble deciding what desserts to put out, the balance between healthy things and little treats, and you'd booked an entertainer, and then on the day it pours with rain and you'd planned for it to be in the garden. The entertainer's late, there's lots of children crying, and a couple of them get into a fight. And when it's all over and they've all gone and you're clearing up the mess, you feel so deflated. And then you find a little person hugging you round the leg and saying, that was amazing, because they loved the party and the person that you did it for had a great time. So there you go. What you think is perfect might not be the same as what a child thinks is perfect. Their friends came, they had food and drink, they laughed, they chased each other around, and it was absolutely wonderful, just for them. And that's all you can ask for in a children's party. So give yourself a break, give yourself some credit. You did a great job with that. Next time, you've already experienced everything that can go wrong, so the next one is going to be even more marvellous, and you'll know how to do things, how to book things, what to do differently. It's all a big learning curve, but it doesn't matter. You did good. The main thing is to keep giving yourself credit for keeping going, for trying your best, and congratulate yourself when you make achievements, find the right place for you, do the right thing for you. You're an incredible human being, and you'll find your way. Be proud of yourself and let your confidence grow. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and come back next time. Bye for now.